Welcome to Temple Israel.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for Shabbat. My name is Rabbi Lorraine Rudenberg, and it is my pleasure to fill in for Rabbi Morrison tonight. Joining me on the bima is cantorial soloist Karen Pincus and her amazing vocals. Playing piano for us tonight is Pat Seymour, and taking care of our sound is Maria Araby. Thank you both so much. I have just a few announcements of upcoming classes, Zoom chats. On August 23rd, that's this coming Sunday, Rabbi Cantor Rochelle Nelson will be teaching Jewish music of Elul, Love, from 4 to 5. That's this Sunday from 4 to 5. Check the website for more details if you need them. And on Thursday, August 27th, from 12 to 1, Rabbi Morrison will be leading a Zoomversation, what a great word, taking a spiritual inventory. Obviously it's on Zoom, and that's Thursday, August 27th, from 12 to 1. Again, check the website so that you have all the information. We're going to begin tonight by lighting our Shabbat candles in honor of Wendy Salzberg, because it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Wendy. We're so happy to do this for you. And if you have candles at home and you would like to, join us and light your candles too.
Well, before we do that, we actually are going to sing Maya Hayom on page 10.
Okay.
And everyone say hello to each other on the chat. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
And now we're going to light our candles in honor of Wendy's birthday, Wendy Salzberg's birthday. Please join me with your candles at home as we light ours all together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu leharik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
We continue with the reading on the very next page, on page 3, at the top of the page. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. We're going to move on to page 9 for a second reading. The top of the page. Page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
Go.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world is our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, and day of peace. And as we've welcomed the Shabbat, let's take a moment to greet each other on the chat, make a phone call real quick and say Shabbat Shalom to someone or the people that you're with in your home, and wish them a wonderful Shabbat. Maybe
Shabbat
online.
Shalom, Rabbi.
Huh?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom?
Shabbat Shalom, Louis.
Shabbat
who's sitting
Shalom.
here
Shabbat
as
Shalom,
usual,
Pat.
And Shabbat Shalom, Pat. And we're done. And Maria. Okay.
We're going to continue on page 10 with Hine Ma Tov.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Lechu neranena on page 12. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, letzorishenu, mikad ma'afana betuda. Naria, Naria, letzorishenu, bizmirot Naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai.
We're going to continue with Lecha Dodi on page 20. Each Shabbat, we sing this song to welcome the Shabbat bride. It is the song of the mystics of Tzfat as they walk toward the sunset each Shabbat, knowing that the Shabbat bride was on her way. Page 20. I'll tell you when the last verse is coming so that if you can, you will rise and look at the door and bow as when the Shabbat bride enters. So let's begin.
לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 5. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בא אורך ומאורי, אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise and face the door for the last verse, verse 9.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We're going to continue on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. The belief, the folk tale is that on Shabbat, the angels that we sing to in Shalom Aleichem come to us and bring us an extra soul. And that gives us more joy and more life. And we keep that soul until Shabbat is over. So, Shalom Aleichem on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malechi Hasharet, Malechi Elyon, Melech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moechem LaShalom, Malechi Hashalom, Malechi Elyon. Melech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni LeShalom, Malechi Hashalom, Malechi Elyon. Melech Malchi Hamlachim HaKadosh HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Please turn to page 28, and if you're able, please rise for our call to prayer, the Baruch Hu.
Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai.
It is said that each of us has a prayer in our heart, our own prayer. This beautiful prayer that I'm going to read to you is written by the children of our Hebrew school with Karen's guidance. They have put together these beautiful words. I'll read you a little bit of background, and then I'll read the prayer for you. On January 7th, 2020, our 4th to 7th grade Hebrew school students, had the opportunity to learn how to create a prayer. After learning the parts of a blessing from the Siddur, each student had a hand in creating a small part of a unique prayer just for them. These words remind us of what is important and how blessed we are to worship with our Temple Israel Kehillah Kadosha, our holy community. And this is the prayer. Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives birth to the new generation and the universe, who creates the sun, the moon, and the Torah, who creates our past and writes our future, who gives us our family and friends, who gives us the things we celebrate, and who gives us a chance to do good and to correct the bad. Blessed are you, Adonai, who protects us and helps us through our lives. Amen.
Amen.
We're going to continue on page 32 with Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amlecha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemod eto, Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochbeinu v'kumenu, Nasiach bechukecha. V'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed.
everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ובהם נגה יום ולילה. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Please stand, if you can, for the Shema on page 34. We're going to ask you, I think it's a great idea, let the kids lead it. Let them lead the Shema if there are any children with you, or just join us as we all sing the Shema together. The Shema is on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
And you can be seated for the Via Hafta, which is on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם באמת.
I'd like to share with you a reading by Rabbi Zoe Klein. I think it's very appropriate before the Michamocha, certainly, but also because the month of Elul has begun, and it's time for us to begin our spiritual preparation for the high holidays. Redemption by Zoe Klein, Rabbi Zoe Klein. There are three regions in each of our souls. There is Egypt, there is the desert, and there's the promised land. Many of us have glimpsed our Egypt, or perhaps some are still there, wearing the chains, bearing the burdens of fear, insecurity, doubt, and weakness, mustering the strength to clamber up. Still fewer of us have glimpsed our promised land, our destiny, fulfillment of dreams, our fruitfulness, our blossoming, our purpose. We talk of Egypt often. Every holiday, every prayer service mentions we were once slaves and recalls our hardships under Pharaoh. We talk of the promised land often. Every holiday, every prayer service longs for Israel, for the voice to come forth from Zion. We turn to the east, reminisce Jerusalem, but rarely do we talk or pray about the desert. Yet that is the region in which most of us are, pushing forward in the wilderness, dragging our footsteps across that 40-year stretch of pristine, barren moonscape. It is there that we encounter truth. It is there we encounter miracle. We are all nomads still, at the shore of some sparkling oasis, and we sing our nomad song. We continue with Micha Mocha. On page 40, right? Page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך רוב עניך, הוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם עד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם עד. מי כמוך? מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. ידעי, ידעי,
We're going to continue on page 42 with the Hashkivenu, a prayer for shalom in our souls, kind of a personal security, shalom, fullness, wholeness of shalom. Page 42.
Hashkivenu Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechayim, lechayim.
beautiful. We're going to continue with Yisvachu on page 44.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. יללה ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. יללה ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ובשביל רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. יללה ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת. יללה ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We're going to continue with the central prayer of our service, the Tefillah, which begins on page 46, and then we'll continue with page 48 to 52. So please rise.
Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated, and it's time to be thankful. We're thankful all the time, but it's time to express what we're thankful for because it's Shabbat and it's the custom here. And I'm not sure how this works electronically, but I'd like to start. I am thankful to be here. I had some extensive surgery and I'm okay. So I'm very grateful for that. And to Jose Linares, who happened to be in the operating room with me while I was having my surgery. And it was such a pleasure, Jose, to see you when I opened my eyes in the recovery room. So I have a lot to be grateful for. Please tell everyone what you're grateful for.
I'm actually grateful that you are here as well, and you are well, and that Jose was with you. But I am also grateful, my son got a new job this week, which is good. And actually today is 1 year to the day when my son and his fiance will finally get a chance to be married. So they have put it off for two times.
Yeah.
For June and September, and next August 21st, they will be getting married. So excited.
There's a lot of things to be thankful for, and when you start listing them and telling each other and thinking about them, there's quite a lot in our lives. As crazy as the world sometimes seems, and it does, gratitude can always be right there in our hearts.
So we are going to sing the Rebecca Schwartz Modima Nachnu Lach, and while I am singing, you can write in the chat what you are grateful for. אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו, ואמותינו לעולם ועד, צור חיינו מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור, צור חיינו מגן אישנו, atahu Adonai Eloheinu Velohei Avoteinu Ve'imotenu Leolam Vaed Leolam Vaed Leolam Vaed
Baruch atah Adonai hatov simcha ule'a na'eh lahodaot. We are thankful. We're going to take a few minutes privately, quietly, and think of the prayers of our own heart, the things that we long for, the things we think about. So take a moment for silent meditation.
Shalom Rav on page 60. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon, Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon, Melech Adon, Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Betor benecha levorech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך, בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How beautiful. I know you've been watching me kind of play with my microphone here. I'm not going to do it during my Devar tour, I promise. I'm going to concentrate, but it's kind of weird having a microphone and being live streamed, but I like it. Tonight's Torah portion, all of the Torah portions that we read are usually named with one or two words. They actually begin with that word or words. And that's how you find the portion in the scroll. No numbers, no divisions, just a word. And tonight's word, tonight's Torah portion, is Shoftim, Judges. And it begins, Shoftim v'shotrim titein lecha b'kol sha'arecha asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha l'sivatecha v'shavto et ha'am misaper tzedek. Which means, you shall appoint magistrates and officials for your tribes in all your settlements that the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall govern the people with due justice. Here, justice is translated as tzedek, or righteousness, which to me means a kind of truth and fairness. Of course, each Torah portion is always more than a few words, we know that, and sometimes there are explanations or examples within it, but there's always a deeper meaning, something we can look more deeply into the parsha to give it life and understand how it can be meaningful in our lives today. The pursuit of justice is one of the most frequently repeated concerns, not only of the Torah, but of Jewish tradition. Shoftim emphasizes fairness and impartiality in judgment above all else. The Israelites are warned against giving false testimony, and judges are warned against accepting it. Judges must show no favoritism or take bribes or listen to hearsay, and two witnesses must corroborate each other's testimony. The Torah is describing a kind of ideal, perfect, or complete justice. But as human beings, we are all imperfect. And so can we ever attain perfect justice? Even if we do all the things that the Torah describes, don't we bring with us into every situation we face and every conclusion we reach the sum total of all our experiences, everything that has already happened to us throughout our lives? Every experience we've had over a lifetime affects us in some way, and so we are all naturally biased. The lives we have lived have left us all with assumptions and opinions, prejudices and preconceptions. We are human, and so our experiences shape our frame of reference. How each of us sees the world is different. Given that, can any of us really be impartial and find justice? Jewish tradition never asks us to do the impossible. Our God knows just how human we are and does not expect perfection from us. So if we look at another famous phrase, just a few lines past where I read, we read in this portion, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. We realize what the Torah is actually demanding of us is that we pursue justice. We look for justice. We seek out justice. Not that we have to be perfect, but that we do our very best, the best we possibly can, to be fair and just, to be honest and impartial in our judgments as much as is humanly possible, considering all our life's experiences. But importantly today, there's a catch that the Torah could never have anticipated many thousands of years ago when it was written, or even a few years ago. That is the internet and the flood of information it presents us with. The continuous news cycle that is partly fact and partly opinion, often not checked against the truth. Everyone has an opinion, from the man or woman on the street to enlightened officials. And everything is a video or audio, sometimes cut short or edited to create a soundbite or a visual image that is very convincing. Facebook is full of information, or often a slight distortion of facts, allows everyone on Facebook to be an arbiter of truth and act as an opinionated newscaster. Even if it doesn't always make sense, you see who sent it, and it can seem very credible. It's the new gossip, Gossip 2020. We are bombarded with information that can sometimes be misinformation. And because of COVID, we're home more, and we have more time to watch our screens, perhaps watching the news more and reading everything on social media that comes our way. And everything is not truth. 2 news stations don't even broadcast the same story the same way, not to mention that many images can be manipulated. Often we pick one network, and that's our truth, or we whittle down our social media connections to make it comfortable, and that's our truth. But is it really? The underlying message of tonight's Torah portion, and what I hope we will take home with us when we leave here tonight, is that just as our courts must be fair and unbiased, seeking truth, honesty, and justice above all else, we should try to do the same with the tremendous amount of information that bombards us every day. The human weakness that the Torah is addressing here, the pursuit of justice and truth, has not changed, but the technology has changed. Believing what you hear is a very human frailty, although the methods and modes of information we have to sort through is very different. So do the methods the Torah suggests we use to seek justice, truth, and fairness still work today? Are they relevant? How can we find truth that will honestly and fairly lead to personal conviction? The Torah says that there must be 2 witnesses with the same testimonies. The judges must be impartial, judging rich and poor the same, and never taking bribes. Seek the truth. Ask questions. Do your own sort of inquiry. Keep an open mind. Hear out opinions you don't like, not to be convinced, but to be sure. Find misinformation and disregard it. So think and chase the truth. And that the Torah tells us to do, and that is still relevant. And finally, Moses predicts that real prophets and false prophets will arrive in our lifetimes. I think we can relate to that. We must be careful. We must choose between them. The Eitz Chaim commentary reminds us that the predictions of false prophets will not come true. But that's after the fact, and often so very disappointing. Avraham Joshua Heschel, Zichrono Livracha, a more contemporary scholar, warns, a prophet is someone who tells the truth. The prophet does not tell us what we want to hear. The prophet is a person who sees the world through the eyes of God and man in one thought, at one time, and at all times. Our responsibility to choose justice, truth, honesty, and tzedek in this very complex time we live is a huge task. But remember, we are only human. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, we are commanded in tonight's portion. So we continue to search in this complicated world of information and misinformation. None of us is perfect, and perhaps justice will not be perfect. Yet we continue to search. And as Judaism continues to remind each of us that each of us can make a difference. Amen.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. That was wonderful. And Rabbi Rudenberg and I spoke about earlier this week, and we talked about what she was going to be talking about. And we didn't want to just do a song about justice. We wanted to do a song about chasing truth, as she was talking about. So I found this song, If Not Now. This is a new one that is being added to our repertoire, and it's by Sheldon Lowe, who I happen to know personally from my SLBC conference that I go to every year. He's wonderful. And he says, if not now, is the third line of Rabbi Hillel's quote, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? One of the consequences of living in a golden age for Judaism in North America is that we may take for granted the freedom and prosperity that those before us fought so hard to achieve. This song is a call to action, reminding us to get up and fight for justice and freedom, not just for ourselves, but for all people everywhere, if not now. And thank you, Pat. Let justice roll like a river, and kindness like a mighty stream. Let the waters flow on forever, and let them wash over me. For every heart, for every soul, it's time we go find it once more. So what are we waiting for now? If not now, if not now, then when? What are we waiting for now? If not now, if not now, then when? What are we waiting for now? What are we waiting for now? Let justice roll like a river, kindness like a mighty stream. Let the waters flow on forever, and let them wash over me. For every heart, for every soul, it's time we go find it once more. So what are we waiting for now? If not now, if not now, then when? What are we waiting for now? If not now, if not now, then when? What are we waiting for now? If not now, if not now, then when? What are we waiting for now? No, 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 no. What are we waiting for now? No, 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 no. Let justice roll like a river, and kindness like a mighty stream.
So beautiful and so appropriate. You always find just the right song.
I try.
Yeah, you do try and you do get it. You do
Thank
get it. It's time to take a moment for the Mishabirach. I know we can't really talk to each other. Maybe you can, and I don't know how. But let's take a moment to pray for family and friends who are ill. May God's presence shine upon them, giving them comfort and strength. Share their names in the chat, online, with each other, however you can best do it. And I think Karen has some names, and I want to say the name of my mother, Rose Block.
Sarah Leviton is on our list. Vivian Witkoff, Julie Miller, my daughter's dear friend, and Zoris Zagon, Bob Waterstone's sister. Pat, do you have anyone? Do you have anyone, Louis?
You're okay. Good.
Maria? Do you? Okay.
We take them all into our heart with our own, and we join together in the Mishaberach on page 253.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Mishaberach.
Mishaberach imotenu mekol bracha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed are you, our God, who heals the sick. We continue with the Elenu on page 282. Karen is going to open the ark for us in honor of Lee Rothschild, in memory of his father, Samuel Rothschild. So it's as if you're right here, Lee, and we do miss you.
I know.
The Elenu is on page,
282.
thank you, Karen, 282. I know you knew.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ ועל
ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
I'm going to read with you, if you can follow me. On page 291, there's a beautiful Kaddish reading for the mourner's Kaddish, and I'll read it to you. And then we'll go on to read the list of names, and we'll say the Kaddish. But on page 291, reading 6 at the top of the page. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our lives have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can only tell us what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us, alone, must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is a part of what we have become. We do our best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone. Every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones from whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. Tonight, we recall the names of those who have died recently: Alan Bisno and Susan Etta Johannes. We also commemorate the yurtzites of those who died at the season in years past: Frida Barron, Belen Blanco, Dolores Burstein, Teresa Cohn, Mario Collis, Vincent Conley, Sarah Sievcheks, Philip Fleischer, Regina Fogel, Brigitta Garland, David W. Gerstein, Erwin W. Green, Reuben Greenberg, Jerome Gross, Max Herman, Evelyn Malmud Joseph, Eliyahu Klein, Ralph Columbus, Bella H. Cohen, and Edna Sachs Landsberg, Elias Levy, Harry J. Lewis, Morris Meidenberg, Mildred N. Mendelson, Irma Schwartz Papai, Solomon Papper, Ruth Quarnton, Joseph Regal, Sam Resnick, Charles Robbins, Samuel Rothschild, Molly K. Ruskin, Lillian Schaffel, Barbara Schlossberg, Gabrielle Siegel, Milton Siegel, Samuel Silverstein, Aileen Steinberg, Louis Ullian, Gregory Mark Walder, Sarah S. Wilder, Nancy Williams, Bertha Wolf. Please share names of those I may not have said that are in your hearts, or if I have mispronounced the name of your loved one, please go ahead and say it correctly for me. We continue with Kaddish, which can be found on page 294. Yitgal v'yitkedash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yifrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Omei Maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalel v'yithalel Shmei Dekudashah B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shamaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zikronom lavracha. Their memories are our blessing. We have a closing song that's beautiful.
We
One of my
do.
favorites.
We do.
Tefillah Hadera. I'm sure she was going to tell you that. Well, I fixed my microphone.
Okay, you can turn to page 345 for Tefillat Haderech. And I wanted to remind you, not just Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and thank you for being here with us tonight, but
Yes.
please join Pat and me tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. on Zoom, followed by Torah study at Joseph's Table at 11:30. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be a blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. Come on, take it home. Here we go. Amen. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. And before we leave, I want to thank Rabbi Lorraine Rudenberg for filling in and being here. Thank you so much.
My
And
pleasure. I love it here. I'm a member. I'm a congregant too.
Yes.
So this is my home also.
I know. And also Pat Seymour, Maria Ayerbe, and of course Louis for being here. Thank you so much,
And
everyone.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
Karen.
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Thank you.